Let's watch a very heated CNN panel where, as always, Scott Jennings couldn't help but get absolutely destroyed by Catherine Rampell discussing Elon and a recent Trump action and purge at the DOJ. So let's jump right into it. Make sure you're buckled in and we'll be back with the context needed. Hey you, yes, you. We now have a Substack website where you can help support the channel. For just $8 a month, you can get daily articles exposing the chaos in Trump's first 100 days, a weekly podcast, and other exclusive perks, all while helping the channel grow and defend democracy. This is something that's not just very important to me, but enables us to get our message out to the most amount of people while also being just a genuine passion that I would love to pursue. So for those who have been wondering how to support the channel, how to help us grow, you can sign up now at the first link in our description. Thank you, and let's get back to the video.
This salute trutherism is outrageous. This is the most.
Do it right now on TV.
This is the biggest
so
conspiracy.
Do it right now on TV.
It's crazy.
If you think it's normal, if you think this is a normal way to greet people, do it right now on TV. Why won't you?
Okay, there's two parts of this that need discussed. First is nobody with anything to lose is going to do that on TV because they understand what it is and what the implications of that would be for anyone not directly in Trump's pocket or with an enormous amount of wealth. What he did was a Nazi salute. Like, let's not confuse that or try to obfuscate that clearly. It should be condemned and it should be easy to shun and say that. There shouldn't be any, oh, I don't know, right? What you claim of the intent is aside from that, but let's condemn the salute for what it is rather than normalizing it to the point that Elon feels comfortable leaning into, maybe I did it, and even joking publicly on X with like Nazi references and stuff. This is how you normalize Nazi behavior, and that is a bad social thing. The other side of it is that Elon absolutely is a Nazi and absolutely had the intent. A neo-Nazi is still a Nazi. Don't get that confused. He talks about keeping bloodlines pure. He is obsessed with Western birthright. Spoke at a far-right rally in Germany about forgetting past guilt. He endorsed their far-right party. I mean, that part is clear. If that's not Nazi behavior, then what is? Like, it's not always someone who walks up and says that they hate the Jews and I would say does a Sieg Heil, but he did that, and the Nazis in Germany thought he did it.
I am making a simple personnel argument.
No, what's wrong with it?
The Justice Department exists in the executive branch, and it exists under the president. It is not an independent agency.
If that is the case, then what would be wrong with Joe Biden if that's the case? What would be wrong with Joe Biden saying, I'm going to order the Justice Department to go after my political enemies? Wouldn't there be nothing wrong with that by your logic?
Well, I don't think that there's any problem with the president as the head of the executive branch telling the Justice Department, I think things need to be investigated
That
here.
is quite,
but it's up to them. It's up to them to decide whether laws were broken.
That is quite an extraordinary acknowledgement after 4 years of saying the Justice Department has been wrongly weaponized against Republicans. You are now saying it's okay.
I'm not saying it should be weaponized, but it doesn't exist separate from the president. It does not.
We have no evidence that Biden ordered it.
No matter how often it happens, it really will never cease to amaze me how willing MAGA is to just throw all their principles away on the drop of a dime the second they have power just in the name of Trump. The entire outcry the last 2 years was how the president shouldn't weaponize the DOJ, all drawing fringe conspiracies without any real evidence of this to make this point. Yet when Trump is now firing DOJ officials because of who they've investigated and replacing them with loyalists that he's directing to investigate those who looked into January 6th, and is also appointing an FBI director with a hit list full of Democrats to investigate, MAGA is like, yeah, this is actually a great thing. Like, none of these people actually believe any of the things they say. It's just which way the wind's blowing that they can hold it against Democrats. And to me, it's insane that Democrats even keep playing ball with this. Like, no more weak Dems. We need to give up pretending these people are serious. Because of these insane conspiracies, Democrats are hesitant to do things like waiting 3 years to prosecute Trump. Thanks a lot for that one, Merrick Garland, for fear of playing into them. Meanwhile, MAGA continuously shows their hand that they're just going to say it regardless, and that they aren't even actual principles they hold. They're just ones they hold against Democrats.
I just think that forgets the point that the Department of Justice and the attorneys in the department should act free from any political influence or will.
But it's a department of the executive branch. The president appoints the attorney general. It works for the president,
But
does
the
it not?
Department of Justice It does not work for the president.
Yes,
the
it does.
Department of Justice works for the American people.
No, it works for the executive branch. It's in the
Justice,
Constitution. It exists in the executive branch.
The lawyers of the Justice Department work for the American people.
You're acting like it's an independent branch of government. It's in the executive branch, run by the president.
But the lawyers of the Justice Department work for the American people, not for the president of the United States, not the person in the office.
So you don't think anyone in the executive branch is bound to the head of the executive branch?
No. Here's the difference. Here's the difference, though. I think this is very critical. You have political appointees who serve at the pleasure of the president. They can be fired whenever, for whatever reason. The president doesn't even need to say why. These are career prosecutors. These are career inspector generals. There's actually a law that says that you cannot fire them without cause.
MAGA people really know nothing about the government. And to be fair, this lady isn't doing the best in rebuttaling it either. But it pains me that these are the MAGA people getting paid. So, like, how worse are the voters, right? But the DOJ is under the executive, but it's led by the attorney general. There is no law that grants the president control or to direct or to impose control over agencies. His control ends with being able to remove or appoint the person in the position of attorney general. Him trying to take control of it and direct it what to do, like, that is fascism, and it is exactly what MAGA pretended they hate it for 4 years and that Democrats were doing, which is after them openly cheering Trump doing it his first term. So I don't know why anyone took him serious to that point either, but it's actually scary that he's doing this now out in the open because MAGA is so brainwashed that they're just going to carry water and cheer on whatever it is that he does. I mean, he's firing DOJ officials because of their prosecutions, right? That imposes force over who you should prosecute, because if it doesn't line up with the president, he's going to step in and fire you when he shouldn't even be able to do that in the first place. Again, power is being consolidated in the executive, but not just in the branch or even just to the office at the top, but to the man in Donald Trump, where that's not how it's supposed to work. And it forgoes all the checks and balances to prevent political persecution and corruption, fascism, authoritarianism, autocracy, these things that are inherently anti-American. And yet MAGA doesn't care because it's the color red, yet they pretended to hate it because of fringe conspiracies. But now we'll cheer it on happening right in front of their faces because Trump won, so who cares, right? It's sick. Oh, the libs.